Hello friends, how you doing? Day 173. I'm back for Storytime Sundays, my friend. And I'm very excited to share with you today. Uh, so, hold on one second. I'm trying to figure this out. Bop, bop, bop. How do I find? I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm trying to scroll through some names here. All right, cool. So today's topic is actually on breast implants, and so obviously I don't have any, but I have a friend who's gone through and through an experience, and she shared her story with me, and I'd love for you to be able to hear her story. And so I've invited her to get on to this live to share this, and once she is, then I'll do a proper introduction. But hopefully you're all having an amazing day so far. This Sunday, a little cloudy and gray. um, Actually, I didn't realize this was a long weekend as well in BC. Anyways, I believe it's Victoria Day, BC Day, I think. All right, so just waiting for my friend here. Technology, you gotta love it. But I don't know if you guys have. So today, actually, I started off with a group, LRS, to do a monthly session on different things, and so this month it was. So today was meditation, and so they also share a little bit about dyad meditation. So I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. So hopefully I'll be able to participate soon. Um, just waiting for my friend Mika. I've sent her the invite, so here we go. Here she's coming. Adding. Oh, let's try that again. Gotta love technology. All right, people, come on now. Hey, Mika, if you're watching this, can you try that again? I approved. I don't know what happened there. Hmm. All right, so she's there. Yeah. So I sent you the request. I don't know if you see it on your end. Bring them on camera. Add. Can't bring Mika on camera. Why is that? Hmm. Morning, Donna. Trying to get my friend Mika on here somehow. So let me see here. Okay, adding, I think. Just adding, connecting. All right. Yes. Oh,
Third
gotta
time
love.
is the charm.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, thank you. It's so great to see you. Oh, and thank you for joining us today.
Great to
How are you
see you
doing?
too.
Yeah. But awesome, yeah. So, as we get started here, I'd like to introduce everyone to Mika. She's a great friend of mine. I met probably a little under a decade ago, I think. We were part of a personal growth group of PSI, and I remember the first time I actually met her, she was staffing it. So he was just this bubbly, full of energy and love, and I was like, wow, I love this girl's energy. And like, what? And gotten to have a few chats with her over the years, and so she's very active on social media, great storyteller, and when I heard her share her story, I was like, wow. I'm like, this is this is powerful because the things that she was sharing, I don't think a lot of excuse me, a lot of people um, maybe know. And so I kind of invited her on here to have her share her story with you, and hopefully it'll be able to bring to light some stuff that maybe you never thought about. And so, Mika, can you, introduce yourself a little bit about who you are, and then share your story that you've gone through the last couple months here, or a little over than that actually. But yeah, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Edison. It's really great to be here. And I think it was 2012 that we met. So it's been almost 10 years. It's amazing how time flies.
Wow.
Yeah. And thank you for the compliment. And I think that it's really great that you're raising awareness here on your Facebook channel for all sorts of great causes. You are such an amazing human being. You're a force for good. You're a force for God. You are doing things to make the world better in your beingness and in raising awareness around all the causes that are near and dear to your heart. And so thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to be here. So my story is that, well, I spent 20 years in the entertainment industry, modeling and singing and acting. And I left home at 17. It was quite chaotic. A lot of us have chaos behind us. And yet it seems to follow us everywhere we go. So I was very young and I was looking to make ends meet, and I had a bartending job. And there was some girls that were teaching me how to be a bartender. Basically, I was 18 years old in Montreal, and we had to wear these little bustiers behind the bar. And they said, the bigger the boob, the bigger the tip. And I didn't really have boobs. I mean, I was 18 years old. I was still developing, really. And I was slim and tall, and I just had more of an athletic figure. But these girls were really had me convinced. So they would take me into the bathroom before work, and they would stuff my bustier, my bra, with socks, and then they would put makeup, like they would shadow their blush onto my breast to make them look bigger, make it look like I had cleavage behind the bar. The lights were dark, and it was a nightclub kind of bar, so you couldn't really tell I had makeup on. But it worked. I mean, it was reinforced at such a young age that big boobs sold, and big boobs could get you whatever you wanted. So I got introduced to that at a very young age. And years later, I was fortunate enough to have a successful career in modeling and landed a couple of really terrific gigs. And one of them required bigger breasts. And my agent said, finally, Mika, I think you should just do it. You should just get breast implants. And I thought, wow. So I was excited at the thought of it because I had been stuffing my shirt for years. And, it's hard to stuff a bathing suit. And I was actually living in Miami now. I was 21 years old, and I was full-time modeling in Miami Beach, Florida. And it made sense. I was doing stuff for German catalogs and, California Girl things, Budweiser Girl, things like that. And it just made sense. And so I did. I went to a place, and I said, I want to get bigger boobs. And here's the story that I want to share today is in part about the desire, where the desire came from, and I wouldn't say social pressure, but there was definitely a lure. It was attractive to want to have something that I didn't have. And I think we can all relate to wanting something that we don't have, whether it's a boy or a girl or a car or a house or a career or long hair. You got dark hair, you like blonde hair. We just, I think as humans, we are attracted often to things that we don't have. And so for me, it was breast implants at the time. And so the question that I asked the surgeon, I didn't do any homework around it. I didn't ask, are these harmful for the body? How long are they going to be in the body? What can I expect if there's a reaction? What do I look for? I didn't ask any of those things. I said, how much are they going to cost? How big can they be? And how long is my recovery? And that was really all I wanted to know. And I remember the surgeon saying to me, they'll be in for life. You know, if they deflate or they pop or something happens, it's going to be, you know, it'll slowly deflate. You'll have time to go in and get it fixed, and don't worry about it. It's saline, which is natural in the body. So if anything does happen, you're going to be fine. Your body will absorb it just like the natural saline in your body. So I went in for the surgery. It was fun. It was so fun to have these things on my body for a while. And when I look back, I think they were leading my life, because photos that I took, like, I would position myself to be a certain way so that my breasts were front and center most times. There were other times where I wanted to hide them. And I would go shopping for clothes or bathing suits. Like, they just became the center focus of my world. I was no longer an intelligent girl. I was no longer the girl with the great laugh or the great smile. I was no longer, that bubbly woman that comes into the room. It was the girl with the big boobs and the tiny waist. And that changed my identity, and I wasn't ready for that. Like, I was ready for it because I thought I wanted it, but at the same time I wasn't ready for the ripple effect that happened of all the different things, and meeting a guy and wondering, does he like me for me and my spirit and my integrity and my loyalty and my laugh and my caress and my passion for life, or does he love me and want to be with me because he wants a trophy girlfriend or trophy wife, or is he looking at me because I've got big boobs and a little waist? And I started to really have this confusion about, who am I? What makes up Mika? And I kind of attach it to, or one of the examples that I've given in the past is that men that have a lot of money, or men that have a really nice car, and they have a woman that's attracted to them, are they ever curious, does this woman love me for me or for my money? And it's the same. I experience the same thing myself. I'm not saying that all girls do, and by no way am I shaming anybody that has them, because I had them for a great time and a fun time. But there definitely was a lot that I wasn't prepared for. And down the road, it was interesting, because when I was doing runway modeling, where I was doing modeling for some of the European clothing lines, they didn't want big breasts. So I had to tape them down. Like, they would use saran wrap, and they would saran wrap them to my body, and then they'd put tape to, like wrapping a present, to hold them in, because they weren't appropriate for a lot of things. So it was an interesting journey, and that journey went on and on. And about 10 years ago, I started to get kind of foggy brain, and my weight would fluctuate, and all these different things started to happen in my body. And I didn't pay attention. I just thought, it's a hangover, or I didn't eat well that day before, or I didn't get enough sleep, or I'm in love and it's the la la blah blah brain. Like, I kind of justified all these things that I was experiencing to what's normal for XYZ. I had met the love of my life. It's going to be, gosh, almost 15 years ago now, my darling Sean. And, I said to him, something just doesn't feel right. And as the years went on, it started to feel less and less right. I went through a huge bout of depression. I was going through, my weight was going up and down and up and down. My energy, there were times where I would sleep 16 hours a day. I started to have incredible fatigue. And when a couple of years into being married, Sean and I decided we wanted to be parents. We wanted to make a baby. So the journey began to make a baby. We were both healthy, and I was on the young side. And we went, and we were unsuccessful for a couple of years. And that's when I had to go and start seeing fertility specialists. And the fertility specialists were doing other tests that my doctors weren't doing, to try to figure out what was going on with my body. And then they diagnosed me with hypothyroidism. I got diagnosed with depression. I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I got diagnosed with autoimmune disease. All these crazy things. Depending on which doctor I went to, they gave me a different diagnosis.
Wow.
But at no time did anyone say to me, do you have breast implants? Do your breasts hurt? the only breast awareness that I had for most of my life was breast cancer. And you feel your breast in the shower for a lump. And you go every couple of years and the doctor will check. And if there's nothing, there's nothing. There's no need to worry. And there was never a lump. And so I never worried. I would have these little aches in my breast, or I mean, I ended up in the ER a couple of times with severe palpitations. I would go for a run and I would feel so fatigued that I'd have to sit on the ground because I felt like I was going to collapse. So all of this in the journey of trying to get pregnant, and my blood was starting to show up. Like I was having blood work that would come back, the blood work of someone that had gone through chemotherapy. Like my blood cell count, my white blood cell count, my red blood cell count. There was not enough oxygen going to my body. All these things were happening. So in the meantime, I left out a part that when I left the film industry and the entertainment world, I actually went back to school and I became a clinical counselor, and I worked with people that were struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, because there was so much of that in the entertainment industry. I just felt compelled to go and help and to turn my life to that. And that's where I met you, Edison, because I was so involved in personal growth and always becoming a better therapist. But what I realized in that is that a lot of people were ill because of not just mental illness, but also health illness. So I had this huge innate desire to learn about nutrition. And so as my health started to fail, and as we were unsuccessful procreating, getting pregnant, I started to realize that I had this huge passion for health. So I became a holistic nutritionist. So here I am, eating as clean as a rabbit. You know, I've got my husband on, we're doing 90 days of raw food. We give up dairy, we give up meat, we give up all these things. We give up alcohol, we're living clean. You know, you could eat our soap and our shampoo. We're cleaning the house with vinegar and so baking soda. And so we had eliminated all the toxins in our life. We were eating clean, doing multiple detoxes, supplementing with stuff we don't get in our food anymore. And, you know, we got a shower head that filters chlorine. Like, I mean, we went to town on everything. And yet I was still getting diagnosed with all these different things. So something wasn't right. And I went to Europe. I went on a dream trip to Europe. And when I came back from Europe, this was just a year and a half ago, I had this massive rash all over my body. And it was now changing again what I could wear. I had to wear long sleeves. I had to wear long pants. I was concerned about everything. My shirt couldn't be too low because I had a rash on my chest, and I was scratching myself to bleed. It was so itchy. I couldn't sleep. It was playing with my mind. I have so much respect for people that suffer from eczema or psoriasis, or like, it's such a mind map to navigate that. And it was that I decided to start to do I did some research on rashes, and I came up with breast implant and rashes. And my mom had mentioned to me several times over the years, maybe Mika, it's your breast implants. And I didn't want to believe it. Number one, because the doctor told me they'd be good for life. Number two, I didn't feel any lumps. And number three, the fear in me of having a surgery to remove them. I was scared for that to go under and to go under for a massive surgery. And I didn't know who I would be without them. So I kept saying, no, I don't want to get rid of them. No, it's fine. It's not my breast implants. But I finally had to come to terms with the fact, after all the research that I had done, that indeed it was my breast implants that were leading to every issue that I was having in my life. And I went to traditional Chinese medicine doctors, chiropractors, homeopathic doctors, Reiki, yoga, meditation. I had done feng shui at our house. So when someone says to me, did you try this? Did you try that? We tried Hawaiian prayer. We did so many things to navigate back to health. And I was at the end of the line. I said, you know what? I've got to consider that it is the breast implants that's causing havoc within my body. And so that's where the journey began, to find a surgeon and figure out, how do I do this? What were the risks involved? Who's going to support me? How much is it going to cost? How am I going to come up with the money? How much time is it going to take to heal? See, after the surgery and after this experience, and with age comes wisdom for most of us, if we're lucky.
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, yeah. And so we get to this place where it's like, I now understand the value in asking good questions. I understand the value in doing my due diligence, on
Yes.
not taking one person's word for it, on not getting caught up in the excitement. It's great to still have big energy and be excited about things and have zest for life, of course, and to be intelligent with it, to take a little bit longer to make decisions. So it was a long, hard decision to make to get an explant. And, and now I'm so passionate about it that I'm podcasting and I'm being interviewed and I'm, going into schools to, I'm working now with a couple of people to develop a program because I think it's important to raise awareness for women on the risks involved and how to navigate. And then also for men to recognize, because there's a lot of men out there and, they think that their women want big breasts, and women think that the men want big breasts. And it's really interesting. I've interviewed hundreds of people and I've been researching now for years. And it's amazing. We each sex thinks it's for the opposite sex. Not every time, but a lot of the times. And when a man finds out, a husband, a boyfriend, a father finds out the risks involved with the breast implants, it's no longer sexy. We don't know, we don't want to buy it for our daughter's graduation gift anymore. We don't want to buy it for our wife, and there's so many alternatives. There's women that have had nursed, babies, and they say, Mika, you can't relate. You don't have baby boobies. When you've nursed a child or two or three or four, they're different. We don't love ourselves in the mirror anymore. But there's other things that you can do to learn to love yourself. There's other places you can focus on. And there are surgeries that can be had that don't involve putting a foreign object into your body that can wreak havoc and ultimately kill you. Because there is a direct link between all these diseases and breast implants. There is a direct link in heavy metal toxicity and also lymphoma, which is a form of cancer, a very scary one. So it's the education is so incredibly important that we make a decision based on intelligent knowledge and not with just not a whimsical, passionate decision like I made back when I was 22 or 23 years old.
Yeah. Well, you were young, right? So at that age, we're limited in how we think. So and so
Yeah,
how?
I was caught up. I was caught up in what I thought the world wanted. I
Mm,
wasn't that young. I really wasn't. It's when you I went to 11 schools growing up. We moved a lot. I had my first job when I was 7. I had my social insurance number by the time I was 11. I
wow.
was working at the Eaton Center, the largest, well, at the time it was the largest shopping center in the country. And I worked a Gene Machine and Orange Julius when 13 years old, 14 years old. I had these part-time jobs. And I left school, because there was chaos at home, and I ran away from home, and I didn't finish high school. I went and I had to get an apartment at the age of 17 years old and get a job, and so life for me happened brilliantly. But I wasn't your typical 22-year-old. I think I was part owner of a modeling agency at age 21, living in Miami, owning an agency, with partners, and out there model scouting and making a 6-figure income as a model, traveling all across the US and Europe and Mexico. So I don't think I really was that young. We look at age was young, but at the same time, I made a decision based on what the world had proved to me. The world
Mm,
proved to me that boobs got you paid, and I wanted to get paid.
wow. That is such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing. How so? So how long did you have them in before issues with your health started to arise?
Oh boy. I mean, that's a really great question. I don't know. I mean, I shoved it under the carpet for so long, Edison.
Mm.
You know, if I go back, I could probably trace issues back if I'm honest with myself. I don't know. I mean, because I had such a beautiful life of traveling and risk taking, and you know, I've just had such a phenomenal life
It
that
sounds like
it
it.
was going so fast. I don't know that I would have ever taken the time to actually go back and think. To answer your question with certainty, 10 years ago, so 15 years after I had my implant. However, I would say that if I was really honest with myself and I look back, I could probably start to assimilate things about 5 or 6 years after my implant surgery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Um, wow. It's just like that's a lot of information that you just shared, and I think it's so important and powerful. And I didn't realize you were, creating some programs and everything. That is wonderful. I think education is so important in so many different areas of lives in our lives, and so I'm glad that you have the opportunity to do this. So this is wonderful, and I know with someone like you, you're going to do it wonderfully and just do it with so much passion and grace, and that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for your It's important. It needs to be done. You know, I may not end up being the one that does it, but I'm gonna, do my part and contribute as much as I can and share my story and get it out there so that, whoever does have an innate desire to participate, to support, to lead, with me or even take over, I'm all game to support. I'm not attached to how it looks. I just want to make sure that the message gets out. So I'm starting the ball rolling here.
That's wonderful. And now you have you said you have a Facebook page, right?
I do. I just started one. It's called Explant Babes. And I've called my company Explant Babes. I have a website as well, explantbabes.com. And so if there's anybody out there that's watching that's really good at building websites and you want to contribute some of your time for this cause, I would be super grateful because I've taken my limited skills to start to build the website. And it's not my skill set, but I'm definitely in the space to attract somebody that wants to contribute that. um, and it's a place for women to come and feel safe to ask questions and to get supported, and that's really it. And explant babes is because we're still babes, like our boobs don't define us. And that's so important for me to share that message, because a lot of us get caught up for a year or 2 or 5 or 15 or 25 that our boobs do define us, and they don't. It's really an interesting journey to go on. And so if you're thinking about getting breast implants, hit me up for a conversation and let's chat about it. And if I can support you in some of the mindset around it, if I can support you if you've got a confidence, challenge, obstacle that you want to explore, if it's somebody in your life that's, cheering for you to go for it, maybe I can have a conversation with you to support you in navigating that conversation, to just have someone other than a doctor that has a financial interest, a surgeon that has financial interest. Actually, the doctors, I mean, I fired 4 doctors in 10 years, and none of them asked me if I had breast implants or if they were maybe the cause. So they're completely out to lunch. And then when I did share with my now doctor, who I thought was so awesome, the journey that I was going on, and I said, I've got breast implants and I think they're causing a problem. And he's like, I've never heard of that before. I don't think so. And so I requested some additional ultrasounds and an MRI. And he's like, no, I'm not going to recommend that for you. I think if you had issues, we would know about it. So I was unimpressed with even his take on it. And then the surgeon, of course, the surgeon is there to earn an income. And so he's going to tell you, what he's required to tell you. The breast implant companies Oh my gosh, that's a whole other segment. They're there to make money. You know, we all need to eat at the end of the day. But if we can choose a way to earn an income that doesn't kill people, I would be all for that.
Yes, yeah, sign me up
So
for that too.
let's have a conversation about your breast implants. And if you've got them and you think that they might be causing you to not sleep or sleep too much or get migraines or a little skin rash or allergies. I mean, I developed allergies overnight. All of a sudden, I had an allergy to grass where my throat swelled up and I was this close from calling 911.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and then all of a sudden I can't have garlic anymore, and I'm spending 6 months going to specialists and allergists, and not one of them thought it could be my breast implants. Not one.
Wow.
So I think that this message is so important to at least consider in your journey to excellent health.
That is wonderful. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, and after this, definitely put your group link in the comments so that if
Sure.
anybody chooses to, right, they can just click it on, and it'll be really simple for them to get in contact with you. But yeah, you are really just a wonderful soul, and again, thank you so much. But before we head out, is there like a final message or two that you want to leave with the people that are listening to your message before I head out today?
Oh, one message. Ask great questions. Learn to ask great questions. And listen to the answers, not with the filter of what you think you want to hear, because we will always find the answers that we want, but they aren't always what we need. So be open to finding the answers that you need to hear. Because we can, you can look up on the internet something and find 50% this way and 50% this way. You're going to find what it is that you want to find. So be open to the possibilities that what you need is not what you want.
Definitely, that is a great message. Actually, Donna here asked, do you know what proportion of people are affected by implants like that?
Implant illness, millions. Yeah, millions and millions and millions. Millions.
Wow, that is
Yeah, it's a big problem, and it depends on which country. Singapore has one of the highest rates of plastic surgery. Um, Breast implants has consistently been in the top 5 plastic surgeries in the world for over 10 years. They've been around since the 60s, and there are breast implant companies in there's one particular company that has been outlawed in 36 countries, but is still being put in women in the United States, and there's direct link to lymphoma. So, we have a problem, and the numbers are in the millions now, and it's going to continue to grow. The good news is that the word is starting to get out, and there are a couple of surgeons out there that are recognizing that breast implant illness does exist, and they're refusing to do implants anymore. They've
Oh,
shifted their businesses completely to explant. And so whether that is a financial decision because they're capitalizing on, what is coming out now, or if it's the goodness of their heart, I don't care. They're making all their surgeries about explants, which is important because when you're in the journey to explant, there are a lot of questions you've got to ask, because you can make just as many mistakes, if not more, having them out than putting them in. It's a riskier surgery. It's a more dangerous surgery. There's more important questions to ask. And there are a lot of haphazard surgeons out there that can wreak severe havoc on your body if you don't know what to ask, and you don't know how to filter out the bad ones.
yeah, definitely. So let's say somebody is looking to get an explant. What are, a few basic key ones that you would have them think about or ask at the beginning of their journey exploration?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so you're going to want to go to a surgeon that number one has experience with explants, and I'm not talking, one a week. I'm talking 10 a week, 20 a week, 30 a week. You want an explant surgeon that's done at least 100 of them. You want to make sure that your body and your mind are prepared. So you've created a support system, whether it's a coach you've hired or it's a family member, but you want to definitely get your body and your mind prepared for the surgery because it's intense. And you want to make sure that the entire capsule is removed from the surgery. So in breast implant explant, there's the implant itself, and then once the implant is in the body recognizes it as a foreign object, and it starts to create a capsule around it. The capsule is designed to protect the body from this foreign object. It's actually called a medical device. But when the surgeons, when they go into your body and they take the implant out, if they leave any part of the capsule behind, that capsule is toxic. It's filled with heavy metals and toxins. So they need to be able to get the whole thing out. That is crucial. The second thing is if there's any indication of a leak or a break or a tear. Some of the gummy bear implants are harder to define if there's been a tear because they're like jelly. Some of them, a lot of times, they don't show up on MRIs or ultrasounds. And so you want to make sure when you're getting them out that the surgeon takes out the entire thing, and whenever possible in one go. So that takes a, that surgery is as intricate as somebody getting a facelift, or it's incredibly intricate. So you don't want to shop surgeons based on price. You want to shop based on experience, and you want to make sure that your surgeon believes in breast implant illness, or go the other way. Those are my best tips.
Awesome. Those are wonderful tips. Okay, well, you know what? I think
there's 1,000 other things.
Yes, of
So
course. We can't cover everything, but I think what you shared so far, it has just been so educational and a lot of food for thought for anybody considering it, or considering getting implants, or considering getting the explants. So thank you so much. You are amazing.
You're welcome. Thanks, Edison.
I love you so much. It was wonderful, and I'm sure everyone listening to this will get lost from it. So
I love you too. Thank you for creating the platform for all of us to get our message out there. It's beautiful.
Of course. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Mwah.
Take
Bye.
care of your health.
Always. All right. Bye-bye.